Good morning, Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Welcome to the Monday morning edition of Special Report brought to you by KC Securities. Thank you to Daniel over there for sponsoring us in both the morning and afternoon show for Special Report. Thank you very much. How was your weekend, Alex?
Not too bad. Got out to the golf course for a little bit. Enjoyed the weather. Thank you, Dan, once again for that weather, of course. And I mean, can't complain. A couple days off, got some rest. Feeling pretty good. Let's start this week.
Yeah, you had an interesting restart to your work.
Yeah, no kidding. Friday, I get called back for the first day.
Yeah.
Then I'm off for 2 days.
2 days.
Now I'm back for 2 days.
Then you're off for a day.
Yep, for Canada Day. Then we're back for 2 days.
Yeah.
Off for another 2 days.
Then you finally get back to a normal work week.
Oh, my sleep schedule is destroyed. But it's good to see everyone this morning.
Awesome. So we got a bunch of stuff for you today. We're going to give you some updated numbers on Ontario. There's been some very promising COVID-19, keep our fingers crossed.
For sure.
Numbers coming in. We're in exactly the reverse of what is happening in America right now. As a matter of fact, in America, the new daily totals are insane.
They're smashing numbers from when this first really broke out and before any preventative measures were in place, and they're crushing those numbers now in the wrong way, not crushing them in the good way.
And like if you look at Texas, is like reclosing up. So is Florida. Florida in the past 4 days. Okay, I used to live in Miami, so I still follow Florida stuff. Florida in the last 4 days. Guess, do you think they have more or less cases than Ontario's had from the very beginning?
I'm going to go more. I feel like, that is insane.
They did over 9,000 for 3 straight days, including peaking at 9,500, and then they dropped down to 8,500 cases yesterday.
Good job, Florida.
Yeah,
really
dropped down to 8,500. So as of July the 3rd, they're shuttering things again. And I'll have a graph and I'll show why is it that, for example, countries like France and Italy reopened but never saw a spike in cases, and why did America? And a lot of it has to do with basic statistics. And I'll show that graph a little bit later in the show so you can see exactly what I mean. But when France and Italy reopened, they had a slight bump up in cases, and then it went down again. Very similar to what we saw here in Ontario. We reopened, we had a small little spike, but we've been trending in the right direction ever since.
I think we've been pretty good for keeping it under 200 every day for the last little while now.
Yeah, over the last 12, 14 days, we've only had 2 days over 200.
Wow, good job, guys.
And it just shows that, like here in Ontario, the Ford government, Dave Williams, our chief medical officer, and so on, they looked at the stats of what happened in Europe, and then they followed that on when should we reopen, because Europe was ahead of us in terms of the outbreaks and stuff like that. America ignored that, and the graph you're going to see is ridiculous. Now, I mean, if it was your retirement portfolio graph like that, you could retire now. It's that bad. Yeah, it is literally almost looks like it's going straight up. Like it's like this.
It's pretty similar to probably what I saw. It's comparing all the different countries on a graph under what their cases are. Canada's got a nice little curve going down, and the States is basically exponentially going up. And at this time in the game, how are you allowing that to happen?
And they weren't even on the downward. They weren't even on a downward trend when they decided to reopen. And also the same thing has happened in Brazil. You know, the government ignored. My girlfriend's from Brazil, and like just yesterday they had more new cases in Brazil than Ontario had in the entire time.
It's got to be hard for you guys to watch, you know, places where you've got these connections that just run through with COVID.
It's unbelievable to me what's going on. I don't understand how a country as large as the U.S. or like Brazil has 210 million people. It's not a small country. It's one of the largest on the planet, and you would think that they would watch what's happening elsewhere, and they just didn't. And the U.S. is the same way. I mean, Donald Trump, like even Mike Pence, was at a church the other day. I believe it was in Texas. He wasn't wearing a face mask. There was no social distancing. Like the pews were just full, and only a few people were wearing masks. Trump went and did. This is insane. Trump went to Arizona to a place called the Dream Church. The Dream Church claims to have an air filter in their church that catches COVID-19.
Oh, it's perfect.
So in their church, you can't catch COVID-19.
Did they patent that? Is that
well? Actually, it is interesting you mentioned that. It actually is a real thing that there is a filter, but it catches the common cold, not COVID-19. So they're like, if there was really a filter that catches COVID-19, it would be in every single building, not just that one church.
Yeah. Lucky church.
Yeah, I mean, it's lucky for them that they have that one filter. And that was not socially distanced, and literally you saw the crowd, like no one was wearing masks, and it was just jammed. Okay, so we were talking numbers, so let's talk Ontario numbers right now, just to kind of go off the top, because they were very promising over the weekend.
The good news portion of the show.
Yes, this is now the good news. This is what happens when you have competent leadership. On Friday, we had 111 new cases. Saturday, we had 160. Yesterday, we bumped up to 178. So there was a slight uptick, but you're going to see this number go up and down. As long as we're below 200 and our rolling 5-day average is going in the right direction, going up to 178 isn't like the end of the world or anything like that. Also, our testing numbers are still well above the daily target. We did 28,000 tests on Saturday. We did 29,500 on Sunday.
Wow. That's
well above the 22,000 they want to be doing. Only 6 people died from the virus. However, of the 178 cases on Sunday, half were with people under the age of 39. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well, about how COVID-19 is particularly affecting children and stuff now as well.
Yes.
And then, once again, our hospital numbers are going way down. We only have 214 people in the hospital, 51 in the ICU, and we've got 36 on ventilators. So those numbers are still going all in the right direction. I mean, it was only about 5 weeks ago when we had more people on ventilators than we do now have in the hospital, period.
Wow.
Because we actually peaked at about 264 people on ventilators. And we have only 214 in the hospital now. So all the numbers in Ontario are going in the right direction. That means we're doing the things we need to do, keep up the social distancing. I dealt with a poll last week that came out that 2/3 of Canadians want social distancing of 2 meters, still being in effect for the next foreseeable future. But let's actually talk a little bit about children and schools. Okay. People under the age of 20, when they get COVID-19, their symptoms are much milder than when it's people over the age of 20.
Yes.
And we only have one person under the age of 20 who's actually passed away from COVID-19 here in Ontario. Now, the numbers amongst young people is rising, and there's a couple different reasons for that. One is traveling to work.
Right.
A lot of younger people work in retail. They work in restaurants. Fast food. Like all students, when they're going to school, are all working in those places. So that's why we're seeing a jump in those numbers. So don't be too alarmed that half our new cases are in people under 39. That's just because the way our society is running right now has changed slightly and things are opening up, and so that's why. But we'll be right back after the break. Oh, sorry. Got to go to weather first. Send it over to Dan. Sorry, Dan. I forgot. You're not in the room with me today. I'm so used to, like, last week, you're just sitting next to me. Sorry, Daniel. I forgot about you.
That's okay, Chris. I mean, it happens, right? I'm just
You're only sitting next to me for like an hour and a half this morning.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed your weekend, Chris, and I hope you're happy with the weather I gave you.
Yes, it was definitely a step up.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to take a live look here at, this is downtown Sault Ste. Marie here. As you can see, there's still some low clouds. Any bit of clouds that are here are going to clear up later today, and it's going to get very sunny and hot. Currently, we're sitting at 18 degrees. It's sunny, so you get ready for a hot day. We're going to be getting up to 30 degrees, but I'm going to be right back after the commercial break with your full weather forecast, so stay tuned for more special report.
What's life without making a few mistakes down the road? A few sharp turns. And doing things for what we adore, but might regret later. A trip to Chuck's Roadhouse isn't one of them. With melt-in-your-mouth AAA steaks, buttery lobster tail, half-priced apps after 9 p.m., an ice-cold draft with all your Roadhouse favorites. Chuck's Roadhouse. Food the way it ought to be, priced the way it used to.
message from the Government of Canada.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
And welcome back to Special Report Morning Edition. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. I'd like to thank KC Securities for their sponsorship of Special Report. And we're going to go over to Dan to continue the weather. What's happening, Dan?
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, well, good morning, Sault Ste. Marie, good morning, Algoma, and good morning, Chris and Alex. Well, today it's going to be very hot, so I promised you guys that I was going to have a very good week for you, and I have some good news in store. So right now we're currently sitting at 18 degrees and it's sunny. And we're going to get up to about a high of 30 degrees today. And there's going to be a bit of humidex, 33 degrees, nothing too major, but a high UV index, so you're going to want your sunscreen if you are out. It's a good day to go out. I know a lot of people are probably going to be traveling this week because of the holiday coming up. So very good time to go to the beach, travel, maybe your camp if you're traveling in the Algoma region. Get out and enjoy it. I went to Elliott Lake yesterday and it was very, very nice up there as well. So we're going to get into your 3-day forecast. So on Tuesday, it's going to be a high of 30 degrees Celsius as well. There's going to be some humidity again, but nothing too major. This is a hot, high-pressure system, but not too much humidity. So it will be pretty decent weather for most of the week. So Tuesday night, we're going to get down to a low of 16. And then Wednesday, it will be a high of 31 Celsius and sunny. So very simple again, and then we're going to get into the 7-day here. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday it's sunny with 29 degrees Celsius, a low of 16. Friday it's mainly sunny with a high of 27 and a low of 15. And Saturday, same thing, mainly sunny with a high of 29 and a low of 16. And then Sunday, it's going to be sunny with a high of 31. And we may see humidex that day of about 38. So keep that in mind. And a low of 19 as well. And then on Monday, 29 degrees Celsius and a low of 18. So very, very hot week in store. And I know Chris really likes this because our normal temperatures are 23 is our seasonal high. And 10 is our low. So we are in that very hot weather. So what do you say, Chris? Do you look forward to this week?
Yeah, much more than last week. Last week was a torrential downpour. Now we actually get some sun. And my girlfriend wants to go to the beach on Canada Day, so that's looking positive for that one.
That's good. I've got some time in St. Joe's Island this week too, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because you're going away for 3 days. So
yeah, for sure.
So perfect. Now, some Facebook shout-outs. Hi to Daniel, Marilyn, Ineki from the Netherlands, also to Rachel as well, and Regis and Colette Linden. Colette has just posted a message here. I'll read it out for everyone. Good morning, guys. Just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who generously donated. Several messages I received wishing me well, staying positive and staying strong. It's extremely overwhelming to receive so many well wishes. Now on Friday I talked about what happened to Colette. I won't go into detail here, but she was burned in her home while cooking and is actually in the hospital with 2nd and 3rd degree burns on her hands and also on her hip and on her toes. We've set up a GoFundMe page. She has expenses that will go over and above her normal expenses, just from therapy. Also, her son needs to go into some sort of a daycare to be taken care of, and other expenses as well related to this. So we set up a GoFundMe page with the goal of $5,000. When we went on the air Friday, Alex and I, this was at $960. We are now at $5,370 after the weekend, and donations are continuing to come in. I'd like to thank everyone who did donate, and I also said anyone who donates $25 or more, I will say their name on air today. So I'm going to go through that now. So I'd like to thank Bruce Clement, Nancy and Peter Oldcorn, that's my parents. Bruce is one of the owners of this On TV and Sue Online. I'd like to thank Daniel, who's also our weather guy, as you just saw, Nathan Party, Amanda Linden, Lisa Hirelane, Isabella Machard, June Party, Mary Lovegrove, that's my sister, thanks sister, Vanessa Marshall, Christopher Moore, Stuart Henderson, Giselle Chisikowski, which is Mike's wife, our producer and camera person, June Moore, Michael Brady, Steve Durham, Frank Donahue, John O'Gorman, John and Merrill McKay, Nathaniel Pash, Dave and Sandy Arnett, Carrie Wally, Rita Hardenbrook, Janet, Kevin, Sadie Anderson and Geddes, Andrew Ward, Paul Mitchell, Megan Beckett, Megan Connolly, Ian Miller, Mike and Tony Frierson, sorry if I butchered that, Sean Kelly, John Dolan, Raina Gillis, Chris Tranny, Daniel Black, Gary Goldsboro, Pauline Venema, Joanne Vanderhayden, Michael Quigley, Ariana Forward, Jerry Emmons, Jim and Isabel Arnett, Arthur Dewey, Nancy Best, John Neely, Donna and Sean Madden, Kyle Roziski, Luke and Lisa Duval, Dan Baird, David Fawcett, Tom Bateman, and Janessa Cetra McCole. Thank you to all of those people who have donated. We very much appreciate it. Colette very much appreciates it as well. I had the opportunity to talk with her on Friday. She's in good spirits. The surgery has been delayed slightly to allow her hands to heal a little bit longer, so she will be out possibly for another extra couple weeks than what was originally expected. So if you can still donate to Colette's GoFundMe page, please do. It's pinned at the top of our Facebook page. You can click through there to it. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Special Report. Thank you very much for KC Securities for sponsoring our show. We'll also be back at 1 p.m. with another special report as well, and with Doug Ford. But I mentioned off the top of the show about a curve showing how America's cases have spiked, whereas, France and Italy, they opened when they should have. And you're going to see that coming up on your screen. Okay, so, yes. Okay, so one of these curves does not look like the other. June 1st is basically when Europe started to reopen, Italy and France. That is the gray line and the red line. And as you can see, they continue to go in the right direction up to June 23rd. This is where the stats go to on this one. If you look at America, Florida and Texas are the black and blue lines. That is the cases per million on a 7-day average. Look at the line difference there. That is insane.
I thought that was the whole country, the United States.
No,
That's
just Texas and Florida, not the other 48 states. Yeah, so that line's not looking good. And to top it off, the worst cases in Florida came after June 23rd. This spike, spike that you're looking at, this is the stats to June 23rd.
It's going to go up directly straight at a 90-degree angle, basically.
Because if you think about it, the cases that I talked about were on Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday.
Stay safe to all our American friends.
So basically, those case numbers, when they spiked in Florida, came after when this graph was made. That is incredible. So that spike that you see there, that you think that line is bad, wait till you see the updated one when they come out in a couple days with the numbers to include the last 4 days in Florida. It's going to make this line like literally, it's going to look like straight up.
And how many people do you think are listening to Trump and not getting tested?
A ton.
The amount of other people that have it and we just don't know the stats for. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.
They actually think that it's 10 times higher than the amount of actually being testing right now in the States, because there's such a backup for testing. If you look at any of the testing sites, they're drive-through and they're backed up for miles and miles and miles just to go and get a test. And if you don't get the test by when they close the testing that night, you got to come back and do it again the next day. So, yeah, it's insane. Let's talk about something local.
Something local, yeah. I mean,
by the way, Ontario, we followed the France and Italy model, which is why we're seeing those low cases, and we didn't follow the American model, which was America never actually stopped peaking. They were peaking, and they just kept peaking. So,
they got to be the best. They got to break the records every day.
They're breaking the records, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. But sticking to local, this is something I feel like maybe we're a little bit behind on doing, but it's great to see that we've implemented it into our community. The police have opened up an online reporting system. So, for minor things, there's a couple things on here like theft from a vehicle, theft under $5,000, lost property. Some of the smaller level occurrences, you can actually go online as long as you have a valid email and report. You can send pictures and details of what happened. The police actually are excited to get this started because of the amount of bicycles getting stolen. And hey, whoever stole my bike, if you're watching, not again. I'm going to use this. Not again. So another couple of things that they wanted to mention too on here is that things where there's evidence on the scene or there's a known suspect, you can't go online and report this. That's something you're gonna have to actually call into. But just to try to free up some of the lines for the bigger things, maybe the break and enters, the suspect running down the street with the TV, things like that. But I feel like this is a step in the right direction. I'm glad we got this going here.
Yeah, another thing, speaking of online, that I went to the pharmacist the other day because I need to get
what you do at the pharmacy, got to get some prescriptions.
Yeah, and I needed some refills, and I did not want to have to go to the hospital to get it.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And so there's actually an online number you can call to get your refills now.
No way.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll be right back after the break. Hold tight.
Even though we can't always meet in person, we can still listen.
Even though schools are closed, help is still available in your community.
Even though you may be worried, services and supports are still here.
In stressful times like these, families need mental health supports more than ever.
We are here to make sure you can stay connected to your community and culture.
Nous savons qu'il peut être difficile de rester à la maison, mais vous n'êtes pas seul.
And we know asking for help for yourself and others can be hard.
But there are people in your community who are ready to support you.
No matter your age, gender, sexual identity, race, or culture.
No matter the day, time, or issue.
We're here to help.
And welcome back to Special Report. I'd like to thank KC Securities for their sponsorship. And we're also going to now go over to Daniel, and he's going to give us a quick weather recap.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so today we're going to have a high of 30 degrees, sunny, and as you can see right now, clouds are clearing here. And Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to be about a high of 30 to 31 degrees with lows between 16 and 17 degrees. So we're going to shape up for a good 3 days. And I just want to make a quick mention of our Weather Watcher segment. You can email us a photo or a drawing or a weather video of a storm if there's some event at ontvweather@gmail.com. And I'm going to send it back over to Chris.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Well, if you would like to donate to Colette's GoFundMe page, you can see the link also in the Facebook Live chat that I just posted there as well. Thank you everyone for that. And also Cam Newton.
Wow, what a splash he made, jumping over to the New England Patriots. And to say I'm excited but scared would be the most accurate, I believe. You got a coach in Bill Belichick who's openly said that he wants to win and feels like he can. You've got a quarterback who's openly said he's been given up on by his former team. He's got a new chance. I feel like if you've got a fire under their butts like they do, only good things can come from that because pressure does make diamonds.
Awesome. So we'll see how that comes, and we'll see what happens with the NFL season and how that's going to shape up.
Very true.
But we now have a funny video for you. This dog got a hold of its owner's dentures, and we're going to run that for you now. So this... this is hilarious.
You should have heard Chris laughing in the newsroom this morning when he stumbled across this video.
This is hilarious. So this dog went into the drawer of where the owner kept her dentures, and he's now decided he wants dentures.
It's a good look.
He's got a great smile.
It's a good look.
Really, I think he could sell a lot of kibble with that smile.
Ooh.
Yeah, he could be like one of those dogs on the front of the, on front of the dog food or treats or something like that. I mean, something that's like, this is what your teeth will look like if your dog chews these and keeps them healthy. So anyways, thank you for that dog, for that fantastic visual this morning. We will be back at 1 p.m. You can also see the Chris Oldcorn Show at 7 p.m. tonight. News all day long and our newscast at 5 p.m. Alex and I will see you back here at 1. Have a great morning.
Take care.